In anticipation of long reading passages on standardized tests, some teachers are naturally concerned for their lower, slower, and/or unmotivated readers. One simple strategy is to teach them skimming. However, skimming should not be confused with simply reading faster. It's actually reading more efficiently. Skimming involves careful and close reading of just key portions of the text. The secret is to teach students what those key portions are that will provide them a thorough gist of the entire passage. When first teaching skimming, begin using informational text. Students should always read the first paragraph or two, which will contain the general topic, its narrow focus, and the key points that will be made. Then instruct students to read the first sentence of each body paragraph for the entire passage. Assuming that most paragraphs follow a traditional structure where the topic sentence is the first sentence, then students are getting a pretty good roadmap of the information being rolled out in the entire text. Then have them read all of the sentences in the final paragraph. They're looking for the final key points, the so what, the big aha, or any final remarks. After having read these key portions, students are typically prepared to now attack the after-reading questions that follow. It's possible students will still have to go back in the text and read full-body paragraphs of those that they jumped over, but they have a roadmap. They know which body paragraphs to go into to find the details that they're looking for. Once students have mastered skimming nonfiction text, they're ready to now learn how to skim literature. Narrative paragraphs do not follow a typical or predictable pattern. Sometimes a paragraph is really long, very descriptive, and does not have a clear topic sentence. Other times, paragraphs are single sentences stacked on top of each other, like in dialogue. Since stories follow a plot exposition map, then we need to teach students to read the key portions that will give them gist for literature. This includes skimming to find out the conflict, the climax, and the conclusion. Dive into a story reading the first couple paragraphs to find out main characters and conflict. Then jump to the final two paragraphs to identify climax and resolution. To acquire a thorough gist of any story, students need to figure out what the conflict is. What is the problem? And this is always rolled out in a short story in the first couple paragraphs. So we read those. Then we need to figure out, how is the problem resolved? How did it come to a head, and how did it end up? This will be in the climax and the resolution. However, the climax is not in the middle of a story. It's right before the end, in that second to last paragraph. When teaching students how to skim informational text or literature, bear in mind this is not a permanent substitute for reading the entire text. But on time-sensitive tasks like standardized tests, some readers need alternative strategies to increase the likelihood that they'll just get through all the material.